Hey, what's up, riders? It's going to be new snowboard day today. Some fresh snow fell. My rock board is getting pretty dry, and I'm pretty sure after the amount of course shots I got into it the early season, it's going to be a write-off for that board, so I don't really want to invest any more wax time into that one. So, first off, before we get started though, what I need is my brand new Now bindings that I'm so happy to unveil and lay onto the board before I can scrape. So I'm going to get those on now, and then I'll be able to scrape. All right, so I'm just tightening my screws the last bit on my new Drive Pros from Now. Really excited to ride this setup for the season. And then we'll start scraping and brushing this board off. Nice and tight. I always go in like an X pattern back and forth between the bolts. That way you know you got these guys on snug. But you don't need to over tighten them. You don't need to crank them. They just need to be snug all around. Little quarter turns at a time. You just got to keep rechecking those bolts so that the pressure of the plate is evenly distributed and your bindings don't wiggle around when you're riding. All right, now it's ready for scraping. Okay. All right, I'm gonna flip the board over. Got my plastic scraper here, and I'm just gonna go from the nose to the tail, and I'm gonna push it with the sharp edge of my scraper, holding it away from me like this, and pushing that wax away. Now this wax is super cold, and this room isn't heated, so it's gonna be flaky like this. Warmer waxes you'll notice, peel off a little nicer. And yeah, I'm just gonna do this laborious work until the wax is all clear with my scraper. Okay, once I've scraped a full pass, I'll clean off what's kind of lingering. I'm gonna do as much work with the scraper as you can. And I'll take a coarse brush like this, and I do little passes, little short flicks almost. Like I press into the board and then I flick up the wax, and you get this sort of... Okay, so I'm just doing pass. All right, rider, so I'm now just doing passes with some brushes. I have 3 of them. I've got a coarse brush, a little bit slightly less coarse brush, and then a nice fine, gentle for that finishing buffering at the end of the job, make it nice and smooth. This basically puts grooves in. This helps kind of structure them out and make those grooves smoother. And then this polishes everything, so it's like this slick, oily base at the end. Yeah, so I'm just going to do that. As I push the wax down, it'll flick up, and you'll see the powder kind of moving down the board, and that's how you know what you've gone over. And I'll usually do about 2 or 3 passes per brush to get the whole base nice and greasy. And at the end, the base should look, or at least the black parts of it, it should look really oily. It should be reflecting color and things back at you. Yeah, that's all you need to know really about it. Very careful with these coarse ones. If you push too hard, you can actually put grooves into the base. Really, I'm just trying to flick up the wax from one end. It's almost like doing a skateboard ollie as I push. And that'll flick up the wax off the surface and put a little groove into a very thin layer at the surface of your base. And that's kind of where, as the snow is passing over the board, or the board passing over the snow, whichever way you look at it, it's melting, it's heating up. And the structure that's there with that wax, the hydrophobic wet layer, will allow the water to evacuate out the back as the board passes over. And that's what allows it to glide better and doesn't get as much friction or suction, staticky suction effect to the snow. There's a little lesson on wax theory. To the best of my knowledge, I'm not a wax scientist or a wax tech. I'm just a coach, and I know my role. But I have had to learn some of these things to do my duties. All right. I'm going to get to work here, finish this off. I'll show you guys the finished product. All right, gang, I'm just finishing my last pass with the polished brush. I'm looking at this job I rushed, and it's terrible. My mentors would probably be super disappointed to see what I left behind. There's a lot of wax still probably on there, but I want to go snowboard, and it's going to get waxed again in 2 days because I'm breaking this board in, so I just don't care. Today, it will be better when it counts, and I'll just keep layering wax, and it'll get faster and faster. If it's not perfect today, I'm not trying to race today. All right, let's go get this thing on snow. We'll see you guys later. Hope you enjoy.